What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Wager Alarm's NFL wins totals. I'm Howard Bender, Craig Mish by my side. Craig, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. Love running through these win totals. I know that we're focused a lot on the AFC. Just as a reminder, 17 games this year. People just get caught up in those old numbers, and you got to really be careful when you're betting them. But I'm fascinated this time of the year. I do think you can get a few edges. Don't pay a ton of attention to those preseason games, Howard. It's pretty foolish to do. But look at the personnel, look at some sort of lucky stats, look at some other things that go a little bit deeper than the players, and I think that you can come out on top.
I definitely think you can come out on top. If you guys missed our breakdown of the AFC East, we also talked a little bit more about the 17-game schedule this year, as well as thoughts on COVID. You can always just find us on wageralarm.com. These videos will all be posted, and they're available, of course, on our YouTube channel as well. So let's get to the wins totals here. Big one here, Baltimore Ravens. Speaking of talking COVID, you've got Lamar Jackson still unvaccinated, says he's talking with team doctors and team officials about whether or not he ends up getting vaccinated. So that's actually something that you got to think about. And with the win total, I'm looking at FanDuel right now, and I see 11. 12 games to win right there. Very risky in a 17-game schedule if your QB's got the COVID.
Yeah, that's true, but I am willing to get risky a little bit with Baltimore.
Nice.
12-5 is not insurmountable for me with them. Last 3 years of wins in a 16-game season, 11, 14, and 10. This team is class of the AFC, always in the playoffs. And yes, all of the issues that you mentioned, Howard, are definitely fair. They added some extra weaponry, of course, for Lamar Jackson in the offseason. I think that's going to be a big factor. They have sort of, I think, dismissed some of the players that really weren't working out all that well for them, so I like that too. Their defense is clearly not what it was in the past, but I don't think this division is very good. I think that the Ravens are going to be able to take advantage of a lot of teams in this division outside of Cleveland. So I am going to lean on the over here, and I don't bet against John Harbaugh over the course of the regular season. To me, he's one of the better coaches and better game planners in the NFL. So while the number does seem high, remember, it's 17 games. In a 16-game season, you're having to go 12-4. You go 12-5 here. I think they can get that done.
I think they can get that done as well. You say you're betting with John Harbaugh. I'm betting with Greg Roman here as well. I love what he does with his mobile QBs. We've seen him do it before. We saw him do it in San Francisco. He made Colin Kaepernick look like a quality NFL QB. He made Tyrod Taylor look good in Buffalo for a little bit. So, I love what he's done for Lamar Jackson. You've got added weapons. You still have, Marquise Brown, and you've got Mark Andrews there, but you've added weapons with Rashad Bateman. I think that's going to be a nice pickup for them. A couple of fringe wideouts just to kind of fill the gaps, but I'm with you on this one here for Baltimore. Now you talk about teams that are, easy in the division. You said not Cleveland because you're worried about them. So let's go to the punching bag here. Let's go to the Bengals because, listen, you got Joe Burrow stomping around like a kid, throwing a tantrum that he wants his Jamar Chase, and they better do it. And that's what happened on draft night. So you're giving him another weapon. The offensive line is healthy right now. Granted, their defense, but there's a lot of firepower here with Chase, with Boyd, with T. Higgins, with Joe Mixon. They bring in Chris Davis with a draft pick there. So I don't know. You tell me, Mish. No confidence in Joe Burrow in his ACL recovery?
I have confidence, and I think the Bengals are going to be an entertaining team to watch, but I don't like the way they're coached, and I don't think that I think they're going to need to turn things over to someone else. Was not a fan of anything that happened from the point that Burrow went down, and I know you could say that about a lot of teams, Dallas in particular. Prescott went down, and their season was over too. But I think the Bengals needed to draft Penei Sewell. I think they needed to help to make sure that Joe Burrow doesn't get hurt. That was a really scary injury for him last year. And yes, they added Jamar Chase, and I think he could be great, but did they really need him? I'm not so sure. I think they needed more offensive line help. I think they needed more defensive help. And this number feels a little fat. Like it's 6.5. Like I don't know. Like I mean, Cincinnati to me is maybe a bottom 5 team, maybe worse than the NFL. And is there that much separation between Cincinnati and the Jets? I mean, we talked about the Jets last time. They're number 6. I'm going to lean under here on Cincinnati. A 6-11 season. Are they going to be better than that? I don't know that they will. So I'm under on Cincinnati here. Their schedule is about even where it should be in terms of strength of schedule, but I see an entertaining year coming for them, but not a lot of wins.
Yeah, it's a dagger through the heart of all of Houday Nation right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to. Hey, I don't even know if you're going to be allowed to go to the Queen City ever again, Craig. This might be a
not
tough
making
one.
Friends lately, Howard. That's for sure.
You're always going to be my friend, Craig, and that's really all that matters. Let's face it. That's it. All right, so leaning on the under there with Cincinnati. Listen, I'm not a huge Zach Taylor fan either, so I'm with you on that. But for management, like you said, Penei Sewell, I thought Penei Sewell also, but management is the one ultimately responsible for that draft, and they opted to go with what Joe Burrow wanted. So, I mean, how are we to blame Zach Taylor and company for that when management's saying, "Oh, we'll just give the QB whatever he wants"?
Yeah, I just don't think that Taylor is a creative play caller. I mean, I guess he was at some point over the course of his career, and maybe that changes this year. I don't know, but
wait till we get to Denver. You want to talk vanilla offenses?
Denver.
Let's talk Denver.
At least I won't have to resell you on them this year. I have a feeling.
Oh my Lord! Moving on over to Cleveland. All right, so I love the Browns. I love the offensive scheme that's there. I love the personnel that's there. The offensive line is beautifully delicious. The defense is getting better and better. They just helped revamp the secondary, which they've had some trouble with. Cleveland Browns 10.5 though. That's that's where it's at. So you need an 11-6 season. Man, I tell you, I think we could get an 11-6 season. I think we could get a 12-5 season here as well from the Browns. My initial lean is the over, but I don't know, Craig. You tell me. Keep me in check.
Well, this is what's fun about doing this, and this is what's fun about having sports betting legal in what we're calling 40-30% of the country. Hopefully we'll get above that. I know that it's starting to get more and more. Is that you can shop these lines, and this is a line that I'm in agreement with you, but you gotta shop this one. So it's 10.5 on FanDuel, and on DraftKings is 9.5. So not
what's
every
the juice
book
on DraftKings though?
Yeah, well, there you go. So it's like, so again, when we're giving out these lines, a lot of these are from FanDuel, but certainly DraftKings has theirs, and if you live in a state where you can bet on MGM, you can do that as well. They have a sports book as well. So find the very best line that you can get, and if the juice isn't insurmountable, and by that I mean, look, -130, -140, yeah, I mean, you're pushing it. You don't want to do -150 or 160. You just get an alternate line. But you can find some 9.5. And by the way, if FanDuel has 10.5, you probably can find some 10. So I'm with you, Howard. Again, I do think Cleveland is built to win, and they're finally doing it the right way with those running backs that they have and the defense that they have. So I'm in agreement. I think the over, but I'd like to get a better number than 10.5. It seems like you can shop this one. That's my point.
All right. I love it. Shop it. We will. Finally, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. The offensive line is a disaster. It was horrible last year. They changed around the offensive line coaching. They got rid of a bunch of players, let them walk via free agency, changing over everything. It does not look good from initial reports right now. You got old-timer Big Ben, who's, Mr. Drama Queen himself, because once, he stubs his toe, it's like Willis Reed coming in for the 1972 Knicks, right? Or the hobbling and stuff like that. Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. It's a fantastic trio of receivers. And then you just bring in Najee Harris here, who from the word go, is supposed to be getting volume, volume, volume. Matt Canada running out a new offense that's supposedly being slowly rolled out, which, kind of bothers me a little bit, but that's because Big Ben doesn't like motion, pre-snap motion, and so they're going to kind of hold back on that a little. Thoughts here on Pittsburgh, the number on FanDuel, 8.5. I don't even know if I like a lean on this one.
Yeah, I would lean under on Pittsburgh here. I think they're going one more year too many with Ben Roethlisberger. I did not like what I saw last year, and this is one of those teams that's really not prepared if Roethlisberger gets hurt to win games. You mentioned their offensive line. It used to be the strong part of their team. It is not anymore. Their defense is still good, not great, but still good. And offensively, yeah, they did add Najee Harris, but you expect him to be Le'Veon Bell like he was in Pittsburgh in year one. I do not. They added a good tight end, I believe, too, a rookie tight end who I think could factor in, especially if Ebron is hurt. That's another guy that gets hurt. Deontay Johnson.
He's a blocker. Freiermuth, he's a big blocker.
Yeah. Not a huge Steelers guy going into the year. If they went 8-9, would that shock anyone? I think that could be optimistic. I'm leaning under on Pittsburgh this year. I think they're trying to hold on to this thing 1 year too many, and I could see a massive changeover after the year is over. I mean, the Pittsburgh doesn't ever tear down. They're always rebuilding. They're always retooling and getting better and better. But I think they made a mistake this time around, either by not drafting a quarterback or bringing someone in that could potentially get some playing time over the course of the year.
Love for the Dwayne Haskins?
No. I don't think that was the answer. I'm disappointed. I want Ben Roethlisberger to go out the right way, but I don't see it. So
Mason Rudolph. No love for Mason Rudolph?
How about Duck Hodges? Is he around?
Oh man! All right, well there you go. So that's our look at the AFC North. Both leaning on the over for Baltimore. Craig says shop around that Cleveland pick, but we like the over in that one there. If you can get it at 9.5, hell yeah! I like the over as long as the juice isn't too good. Leaning on the under here for Cincinnati. Leaning on the under here for Pittsburgh. That's going to do it for us here at Wager Alarm. For Craig Mish, I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.